Just as a disclaimer that this review is spoiler free, so if you haven't seen the show, then you're pretty much just safe to watch this video. I've found myself feeling pretty spoiled this year when it comes to TV shows. Like, it's been fine for movies, but my god, we have been getting absolutely facialed with good shows like House of the Dragon Season 2, Fallout, Invincible Season 2, Shogun, The Boys Season 4, The Acolyte. No, I'm just kidding. I know I'm missing other great shows, but I think you get my point. And what's crazy is that the year isn't even over yet. There's still a chance that we'll get even more great shows by the end of the year. But what I've been wanting to talk about for a few weeks now is a little show that I was a little skeptical about when I first heard of its existence. I thought we were gonna get a cheap cash grab and a really well realized version of the Batman universe. Instead, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw myself really enjoying this show a lot. This show, of course, being The Penguin. For those who don't know, The Penguin is a show set in the same universe as the Batman movie. And this show takes place about like 5 minutes after that movie ends or something like that. The show follows our main character, Oswald Cobb, aka The Penguin, and his rise to power over the mafia/drug/crime scene in Gotham. Now that's just the premise in a nutshell without spoilers. Now I know you're probably thinking that this premise sounds kinda simple, and yeah, you're right. It is. But the show does so much more with this simple premise that it ultimately comes back around to become kind of unique. At least for a TV show based around like mafia families and shit. Like, this show is notably different than The Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Peaky Blinders, and some other ones. The pacing and overall flow of information is done in such an efficient way that it makes this show feel like a breeze while also receiving everything you need to know about the plot. And so much shit can happen in these episodes, but it never feels like too much. Again, I think this is because of the overall pacing of the show. It's worth mentioning that these episodes are almost like an hour long each, but they never overstayed their welcome to me. If anything, it would always leave me wanting more. It's also worth mentioning that the entire show itself didn't feel too long either. It's just a nice little mini-series about the criminal world of Gotham, and I really dig that. Plot, premise, and pacing aside, I love everything in the show itself too. I think the show has a huge cast of strong characters. Every character is just so compelling and interesting because they all have shit going on. The performances are amazing. Every actor is giving it 100%. The cinematography is stunning. The dialogue is just as good as I'd want it to be because it actually sounds, realistic. I really like how you don't have to know shit about Batman to watch this show. He has literally nothing to do with the story. He's not even in it, nor do they even ever really mention him. This is literally just a mafia show that just so happens to take place in Gotham. Now, I would say that you don't have to watch The Batman to watch this show, but it does help to watch it for context, like the opening scene and then a short scene about Victor's past. But that's it. But if you haven't watched The Batman, go watch it. It's good, I promise, 9 out of 10. One thing that I particularly liked was the violence and just overall bloodshed in the show, I guess. I don't know, I just like seeing a rated R Gotham City. I'm just so used to seeing comic book movies that should be rated R that just end up being PG-13. So it just makes me appreciate when something like this show is rated R. Overall, I can personally say that it is one of the most solid and airtight shows I've seen this year so far. A lot of story beats fit perfectly into place, and it's really hard to find things that I didn't like about it or nitpicks that I had, especially with the story. I thought the story was exceptionally good. I had a few tiny little nitpicks, but nothing that's even worth mentioning, and I don't even remember what the fuck they were. They were just that minute. The biggest nitpick that I had was just about all tensions and scenes with Oz where he has like a gun to his head or something. That tension almost like disappears for me because I know he ain't gonna die. I know he's not in any real danger. Yeah, he might get seriously hurt and that might affect the story in interesting ways, but actually dying? Yeah, I knew he was gonna be fine. I could not say the same for the rest of the characters, but I know that Oz was going to live through any pickles that he might find himself in. Because I know they're just going to put that motherfucker in the next Batman movie. I just know it. But that's just the biggest nitpick I had. It doesn't actually make this show any worse, I just feel like I should bring it up. My actual complaint comes with the fact that it's implied in the last episode that you might have to watch the show to have context for the next Batman movie. And that actually kind of makes me a little upset. Because other than that little scene, you could have probably watched the next Batman movie without seeing the show, because the premise of the show and the ending of the Batman kind of already set up the Penguin for the next movie. Like, yeah, he's the replacement of Carmine Falcone. But now, you'll still probably get that, but there might be a new character in the next movie who will be kind of important, and if you didn't watch the show, then go fuck yourself, you're just going to be confused when you watch the Batman 2. Now listen, if it ends up not being an issue, then I'll just eat my words and I'll maybe change my score on this show. Overall, I can say that I am super satisfied with this show. It exceeded my expectations and I am so happy with the show's success because now I know we're going to get a sequel to The Batman. And that just gives me such a big, nerdy hard-on, dude. I definitely believe that anyone can get into this show. You do not have to be a Batman fan at all to like or even love this show. Like, my sister loves this fucking show, and I don't even think she even saw The Batman. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, then please do so. I'm sure it is worth your time like it was with mine. So I'm going to give this show a 9 out of 10.